Okay, so we're back. Um, wasn't sure I was coming back after that last matchup where we lost 52-42 to the Chiefs. Um, the second half was, yeah, completely terrible. Um, the fact that we were able to put up 42 points on the Chiefs was a thing, but then the fact that we gave up 52 and 586 yards. As a matter of fact, 516 yards passing, 86 yards rushing. So over 600 yards, 602 yards, looks like, to the Chiefs and 52 points, putting us dead last in pass defense and dead last in scoring defense. Um, yeah, that hurt. And so here we are. We're back again. We have a press conference. I don't think it's related to the game, but it could be. So we'll see. But we did have a weekly award. So we'll look at that real quick. And of course, it's a little bit ironic and bittersweet and a punch in the gut. So, NFC Offensive Player of the Week is Trey Lance, who threw for 353 yards, three passing touchdowns. He was sacked twice, one interception, and he had 17 rushing yards. He might even, I don't know if he ran for a touchdown. Mahomes did. Not only did he throw for six touchdowns, he ran for a touchdown against us. And yeah, it was a shocker just to watch the defense just with nothing, no answer whatsoever. So there we have it. So let's go ahead and see what this press conference is about. How do you feel about the result in your season opener? It sucked. Obviously not happy with how we played. Which side of the ball struggled more? Well, that's very clear. The defense. I ain't even gonna pull punches. Our defense struggled. They have to make some plays. Who needs to play better this week? Our defensive line. But pass defense. You can't give up 500 yards. Which one? See, I don't like the way that's going. Really? But you know what? Your safety was motivated by what you said, and he'll receive a +3 play requisition and zone coverage for the next game. He needed to play way better. It was no doubt, but they all did. So just to say one player, you don't do that. You don't call a player out like that, single one player out. The entire defense needed to play better, front, middle, and back end. And yeah, so that was very interesting there. All right, we're not going to spend the staff points. We're going to let them build up a little bit. We did have an injury. So our rookie right tackle was out. I signed Jonah Williams. Um, so it turns out, gosh, Terrence Steele was not starting. The rookie was in. So, and now he's out. And then we signed Jonah Williams. And then Nate Thomas, I think his name is Nate. He was originally drafted as a tackle. We moved him in the guard, but I just feel like right now, if something were to happen to Steele, we'll move Thomas out, but I can throw Jonah Williams right back in. That isn't his face. I added a face for him. He didn't have one before, and I think I'm making it my mission to go around and add faces to those who doesn't. So what we're doing is we're lifting up our faceless brothers. So, um, yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay. Xavier Gibson does not have a face yet. I haven't gone in, haven't felt motivated to do his because I'm not sure how long he's really going to be on our team. Let's see. So let's get in here and play the full game. And we're going to do our thing, but okay, McCarthy. We're going to let that play out. I don't know what the difference between the NFL launch playbooks will be, so I just don't select it. We are going to go, we don't want that. We are going to go with the current Color Rush uniforms, and don't want to go. Yeah, we're just going to give them, so we're just going to go Color Rush all the way around.
It's week 2 of the NFL, and we'll see the Cowboys' versatile running back. He's the NFL's ultimate red zone back and your leader in rushing touchdowns. It's the Cowboys and the Vikings on Sunday night prime time.
You know what's crazy is that
For this one, haven't we, Brock? It's time for the NFL on EA Sports.
we did manage to score 6 touchdowns, in the opener. It's just that we happen to give up 7 defensively. So we will see what happens here. All right, we're facing J.J. McCarthy. And again, he had no trouble marching his team down the field. Oh, this is looking ugly. Okay, well, not as ugly as I was thinking it was going to be. All right, so we'll switch. And then, I don't know why I even moved that, but here we go.
The Vikings resumes with the kick. Kickoff taken at the 13.
There we go.
And it's a nice return here. They'll tackle him.
All right, dude's fine. Nice little return up the middle.
Dallas with its offense headed out for our first possession of the half.
Okay, so let's see what the first half stats look like before right off the bat. And dang nabbit. Excuse my language. Got to set the goals for this week. So we got crappy goals. Oh, God, I can't believe I do that every single time. All right, so first downs. Are you kidding me? 13-4. Our defense needs to step it up. 14 of 19 with 2 touchdowns is J.J. McCarthy. 6 to 7 with 1 touchdown. Passing yard. So right now, is it a run? What do we got? Rushes. 9 rushes for 28 yards. 15 rushes for 71. Well, if we're not getting off of the field, no turnovers, no fumbles, no interceptions. Scoring summary: Justin Jefferson, of course. Trey Lance, a 1-yard run. Robert Wilbon, 42-yard. Brandon Cooks, 2-yard pass. So let's see. McCarthy is looking like an all-pro. Only in his second season. Our defense has that ability to make quarterbacks look way better than they are. All right, so JJ is having himself a game. Morrison. Tolbert, not so much. And yep, we're without Lamb. That's for a minute there. I was looking for Lamb. I'm like, where's Lamb, man? But we are without him for this game. All right, so something I cut from last week's was kind of a rant, right? And it is concerning for me. Right now, first half, Micah has 1 TFL and 1 sack, and maybe the only okay. And then Juwan Briggs has a sack as well. And then no turnovers, right? But I did kind of go on a rant, and I did cut it out. And it's just mainly me expressing concern that in the game against the Chiefs in the second half that we actually did watch, maybe I didn't cut it out, maybe I left it in there. Michael Parsons was a non-factor, and right now we're about to re-sign him for a significant amount of money. And I'm like, I don't know that I can justify it, right? It's like the amount of capital that I could get back for him, especially when he's not. And then, and I was saying that this iteration of Madden doesn't have the same impact as he did as in the other Maddens, like in 24 or in 23. His impact was felt, and when you're watching, you can see his impact. And then against Kansas City, which right now I am willing to call it an anomaly, but you just didn't see it. You didn't see Mahomes running for his life trying to get away from Micah. And I'm like, well, that's not right.
The opening half, Bronx. See if they can attack that deficit.
All right.
Here's 1st and 10 from the 34. Here's Lance now. An alert play defensively there. He got a hand on it to tip it away.
Honestly, I did not see that defender. I thought he got out of there. What I mean is I thought he cleared the defender, and so I thought we were good.
Connect on 1st. It's 2nd down. Plowing up the middle.
Oh my God.
He's caught behind the line for a loss. You look now, Brock.
Did that end get blocked at all?
It's a group that they've been more than willing to say they are very excited about bringing in.
Well, lots of folks on the media side, and frankly, other NFL front offices, Kate, have talked about the steals in this.
Now, it's funny because I watched Lord Luigi's playthrough as well. And one of the knocks he had, or one of the things that he was concerned about, oh my gosh, Guyton, really? God dang it. It's bad enough he's not blocking, and then now we got somebody else in that's even lesser of a blocker. One of the things he was concerned about was how the defenders looked in the secondary. And specifically, his defenders, and he's like, he doesn't know if you need to turn up the awareness, right? The dislocated finger, okay. Basically, go in and to the sliders, and then just turn them up a little bit to increase, because the players shouldn't just be simply running around or not running around, just kind of standing there and not looking like they don't know what they're doing. And it's like there's absolutely no awareness, no reaction at all. And then, that constant issue with receivers just running wide open through the secondary just doesn't, oh my God. But yet when you're playing against the defense. I mean, these guys are on it. You can't. There's nothing. It's just crazy how aggressive, how hard of it, how hard that they actually are hitting. I'm like everybody in the secondary or everybody on the defense, the AI defense is a hard hitter and they're right on the ball, completely aware all the time. And it's like, and it's like, and I think one of the things that I had issue with was, it's like, how much do I have to turn up the gameplay sliders to get decent a decent run block, any kind of push from the offensive line? And it's like, I shouldn't have to turn it up that much. There should be some sort of push, period.
In position now, it's first and goal.
And every time I say that, they open up a big hole. Kind of like this one. Fourth touchdown of the season. I know. So every time I said that, he scored a touchdown in the previous game. He had 3 of them. And so it's like, well, what else do you want? I mean, yeah, he had 17 carries for 76 yards or 70, yeah, I think 76 yards and 3 touchdowns. But it's like, that's only because he had like 3 or 4 carries where we were able to scheme it up that he got 15 to 20 yards. Other than that, he was 1 yard in a cloud of dust, 2 yards in a cloud of dust, minus 2 yards. And it's like the defense was constantly pushing, basically bullying the offensive line. And it's like, how is that? Does that seem right? I'm just like, it's some tweaking needs to be done. And Lord Luigi was saying, he says, well, he's sure there will be some patches and some tweaking happening. But I'm like, yeah, but until then, this is what we have. Until, they decide we need to tweak or we need to fix some things. And I mean, and every year, something comes out that's not working the way it should. And, pass coverage is either weak or too potent, and you have to tune it down or tune it up. And it's like, it's an issue with that guy is like turning into somebody there. Juwan Briggs, man, he's turning into a player. So it's like you're just constantly, you have to trust that they'll figure it out, but then you have to trust that it's not built in that way, right? To make it a disadvantage. And then you hope that it's just an oversight that, hey, wait a minute, the AI team just seems always on the ball, always there, and they're very strong and very potent. Why is that? Their quarterbacks, right on point, right? Very aware.
The shotgun, they'll give it to him inside.
And then
bring him down after he ran.
You just, I don't know. I have to watch more gameplay, more other people play. I'm kind of interested in seeing some good Game Bros stuff soon. I know he's playing a lot of college football right now, I think. So, gosh. So I haven't had a chance to see how good he's doing. And I know that Mr. Hurricane is concentrating a lot on college football as well. So I'm curious to see how they are finding the gameplay and everything like that. I don't watch a lot of people play. I have my favorites, right? And then folks that I've seen enough of their playing style that I can kind of gauge. I know their level, right? And their level, especially in comparison to mine. And then so when I see if they're having difficulty, then I don't feel as bad for me having difficulty because they're clearly much better players than I am, I think. But if they're not having any trouble and they say it's too easy, then I'm gonna be like, okay. Okay, like I I don't have anything. I have no excuses. I got nothing because I'm struggling, and you guys, are making me look like an idiot. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's guys out there that are just breezing right through it and saying this is nothing. And I'm like, well, that for you it's nothing. For a player like myself that doesn't have your skills, I need a game that's pretty balanced. You know what I'm saying? And not not something, that it's going to take a Herculean effort to do well at. And that's where we're at right now. Sometimes it feels to do or have success right now. It's like I am beating like the odds. It's like, yeah, you're making me work for it.
Working inside the red zone.
Oh my God, I didn't see him right there. God, I thought it was. Oh, God, I hate the free runners. That to me, that's the worst part. It's like, was that a blitz or was that just the lineman just free running right off the bat? You know what I mean? Look at that one lineman right there. Just Fergie, just
no gain on the play, and they still need
like Fergie. Did you even attempt to block him? I just see you running away from him.
Now it's Lance.
Oh, dude, hold on to that, man. Hold on to that. You got to help me out here, man.
Try for the Cowboys field goal. This will be around a 33-yarder for him.
Oh, I don't like that.
And it is good. No problems there on the shorter attempt. And add 3 to their lead as it extends to 7.
I don't like how slow it went up, and then all of a sudden, boom. It's like, do I need another ability that slows down the downswing? It's like, shouldn't they be the same speed?
And he's brought down.
Same speed on the way up as they are on the way down. And if I don't use as much power, it shouldn't be as fast. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? I was about to say, there's Micah right there. That's what we need to see. And then there you go. There you go. All right.
He goes out close to that 45-yard line. Let's see how they attack this first down, Brock, from the 43. That's the end of the third.
Oh, the other thing is I did change the quarter lengths. I just felt like the games were just outrageous, right? 52 to 42. That game was probably about 10, 20 minutes too long. You know what I'm saying? To get a score that high, I was like, no. So we're testing it right now. I don't know. I might put it back up.
It's a gain of 21 yards to pick up that first down.
I think my favorite part was the magic he worked.
But I'm just want to see how this feels.
It made so much more
if there's too much.
Adding all the extra yardage.
But and then for me, I think the couple of things Okay, there's Micah. I was getting ready to say the couple of things that I was really disappointed in the previous game was Micah, right? And Trayvon. He had 11 tackles. That tells me you didn't get you didn't get any pass defenses. You were tackling the receiver after he caught the ball. What were you playing? You know what I mean? It's like what kind of pass defense were you playing? It's like let him catch and then tackle him. You had 11 of them, 11 tackles. That's a lot for a corner. So I was very disappointed in his play. And I'm like, I need better. Especially when you're what do you call it? X Factor? You're a superstar X Factor player. That's gotta come into play at some point. That has to show his head sometimes. He didn't even have a pass defense. He had 11 tackles, no pass defended, no interceptions, no TFLs. So it's like, I mean, thank goodness you were there because that just means they didn't run free after catching the ball. They just ran free to get open.
Going to the ground again on first. He gets his offense forward.
So yeah, it was
It's an 8-yard pickup, and they're gonna have
it was a disappointing performance all around, I want to say, for all
just keeps those legs
defenders.
Like a piston in an engine, and that effort's contagious. This entire offense is getting a boost.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That was like jailbreak.
Hey, it's amazing how fast these guys are on the field and how fast your fortunes can turn.
Yes, it is amazing how fast these 300-pounders are back there in the backfield on you. If only my 300-pounders would do the same.
From the gun on third down. Complete out to the right. Give him 13 on that play. That's good for a Cowboys first down. It appears all that prep work and studying that you quarterbacks love to do in the build-up to the game, Brock, it has certainly paid off. This guy has picked apart this defense much of the contest.
This is one of those games you appreciate. There's going to be peaks, there's going to be valleys, there's going to be mountaintops. Just like pitchers don't have all their stuff every time out, well, when you do and you're electric, it's sure fun to play.
The one back on the handoff.
Right there. That guy. What in the world?
Well, he was supposed to be the one who chipped away a few and got a new set of downs started right in rhythm. Instead, he's now forced to pick himself from behind the line thanks to a great effort defensively.
Their effort seems to be great all the time.
Looking to throw Lance. Forced out to his right. No luck on the
There's nothing I could do there.
That was a play game right there where you need to buy your receivers just enough time to get open along their routes. Give your quarterback enough time to find and hit him with the throw.
Yes.
That's not what he had.
That is not what I had. My offensive line doesn't believe in that. Does not agree with you. What's he need time for? What's he going to do?
They'll throw on third and long.
And then that accuracy right there, right? You see it was too far out in front. It wasn't accurate, right? Now, when I watch the AI quarterback playing,
to take a shot at this one. This from the right hash and a considerable.
When I watch the AI quarterback,
and this kick is good.
Whoa. It's pinpoint. It's pinpoint just about every throw. Unless you hit him in the middle of throwing, and in half the time, it's still pinpoint and gets there. My guy, if you're in his face, the ball gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And it's, and I don't want to say it's not fair. It's just, it's not balanced, right? It's like it should work that way both times. And there's that tackle again, or the non-tackle again. I'm just gonna run up and just run right into you, and hope that that just knocks you over. Really, that's what it is. I'm just hoping to knock you over. I'm not gonna actually tackle you, because that's not what this sport is it?
Tackle stops him after a solid gain. 2nd and 6 coming up here. From the 27. That's going to be caught by Cooks. And he'll get taken down after advancing this to the 37.
Cooks is having his revenge game.
Themselves another 1st and 10. Now it's McCarthy. This finds Cooks complete. And he'll get it up to the 44. After a good hit.
Now, in the case of Leofau, he does have hard hitter trait.
McCarthy looking to throw. He's got it to him yet again.
Oh my God.
They bring him down
Now,
at the 18-yard
is there a
line.
way? I have to try. I have to see. I have to see. I have to see, right? Because I don't want to complain and whine, but I have to see. All right, is there a way? Cornerback matchups by overall. Will it stay that way? Option defense, aggressive, strip ball, aggressive, tackling, aggressive. Yeah. 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 Throw it over my head. Don't throw it in front of me. You know, like that. All right. I'm gonna see if that actually does something there, and then let's go. Because I'm afraid as soon as I go into this, it's going to cancel it off.
Touchdown here after that big play. We've got 1st and 10 from the red zone.
All right, right now Diggs is on JJ.
He runs this down to around the 12-yard line. And it sits on the play, bringing up 2nd and 4. Working quickly here.
You can't see JJ. There we go. All right, where's JJ? I see JJ. Diggs is on the same side. Is holding true. Now I know that worked. Nope. Oh.
The Vikings face a 4-point deficit.
I will say that
Definitely wanted to get that one out quick, Rob. They did just
that if it was the other way around, my guy would never have got the ball in there. But a second-year quarterback, mediocre quarterback at that, yes, can bullet and laser it right in, just as if he was Mahomes.
Set up and it's away. Just a 3-point game now. Very short kick taken at the 19.
Now, if it was JJ on the other end of it, so yeah, he could beat the defender that way, but I gotta be honest with you, overalls, receiver, defender, they're about the same. Granted, the defender is a rookie, receiver is a seasoned vet, but then the quarterback is a mediocre second year. And I say mediocre, but basically average second year, right?
Back in the backfield, and they give it to him. Oh, he's that's good yardage there with a new set of downs to boot.
Offensive coordinators.
I didn't see how many carries he had at that point. I don't want to push him too hard and get him injured. I don't know what I want to run right now. I don't like any of my choices.
10 from the 42.
I don't like that safety back there.
Back to throw, it's Lance.
You see what I'm saying?
But still a good play defensively.
God dang it.
Incomplete.
I mean, you can see it right there.
I just see somebody hold a block. Just hold a block.
Receivers, they can focus, they can adjust quickly. But on a long distance throw like that, a tip, well, it really
And I want to see my receivers get open.
It makes it so tough to make an adjustment in time.
All right.
They'll run now on second down. And then
Mm.
for him at the line, and he goes
Mm.
down. No gain on the play, and they still need 10 now on third down.
We need more than 10.
He'll throw it. That is caught downfield.
Seriously, I didn't think that was getting through there.
Down just as we've come up to the 2-minute warning. They're set up at the 35 now. Blown back gets the handoff. And he
All right, how many runs did he have now? I want to go check the stats, but I don't actually.
And they still have 2 available for them as we approach the
Usually
end.
it tells me. All right, well, we got to check stats, bro. I'm sorry, guys. But how many rushes does this guy have? 22. All right, so he's out. Okay, Mr. Dowdle. We're going to see what you got for us, man. We're going to see what you got. Just hold on to the ball. That's all we need you to do. And third down. Who's my third down guy? Deuce. Actually, Zeke would be better. But he's got no juice anymore. All right, let's go.
2nd and 6 coming up here. From the gun, here's a handoff. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains. Minnesota spends its 2nd time out here. And they'll have just 1 minute to burn now.
What do we need?
All set up now for 1st and 10. Right up the gut. And he'll go down here at the 16.
What's interesting is that linebacker knew exactly where the ball was going. He was right in there.
After a good pickup, they've got 2nd and 4. Give now to the running back.
Oh my goodness, this guy. He's just unblockable. I don't even know who he is, but he's unblockable. Whoever that guy is, his name is now called unblockable. That wasn't insane. That was just poor blocking. His name is Mr. Unblockable.
He'll look to throw it.
And that is Mr. I can't catch in traffic.
It's incomplete.
But Mr. Cooks can. From the other end, right? Right? We just saw that. We just witnessed that.
As a defense, you got to see the pass. You got to time up your hit, and you got to jar that ball loose. Not a lot of offensive players are hanging on to that run through a well-placed hit.
No freaking way.
And he missed it. It's no good. And they are unable to double their lead.
Surely not something they're too pleased.
That was awful.
But Kate, with that miss, we got a lot of juice. We got an
I don't know
opportunity
what
to see
that
a
was.
field goal and a chance.
That downswing on the meter
Taking the field on
is
offense.
just awful.
And that last drive, no answer for what they were doing through the air. Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10. Looking to throw it.
Get off your butt, Mozzie.
An alert play defensively there. He got a hand on it to tip it away. That makes it
Now the
6.
fact that Bland was on his back on JJ right now only has me very upset,
Tough play for him. He took a shot on the release and it definitely
right? Because it basically reset. It stayed that way for that series and then reset after that. And Micah's just spinning and spinning and not getting at any kind of thing. So it's basically
here he is to throw.
you're fine or you're effective until we actually need you to be a game wrecker, right? Like right now, we need you to be a game wrecker. And so I'm sitting there like, why am I paying you if you can't be a game wrecker? Still can't get over that kick. God dang it. Look at me. I got a blitz. And of course, first down. So the previous 2 plays are just nullified right there. Boom. Herculean efforts and then 1 play.
Setting up to pass. Short pass caught by his tight end. And he'll take it past the midfield stripe and start the push in the count.
They don't have any timeouts either. So we just need you to bow up. There you go. I hate this 3-man line. Poop.
That came in before he could find a target and hit him to all.
Because you're not. Okay, I would say you're not getting any rush.
This one falls incomplete. No miracles on the final drive today. This game is over.
That game was too close for comfort. And I guess my problem is I want 56-0. I do. I want 56-0. And but
so for my partner Brock Hewitt and our entire
but I
I
want the ability, right? I want the ability to go into the game plan prior to the game and set those things. Like to be able to say, hey, defensive backs line up by overall, right? And for it to hold through the entire game. I don't like every series you got to reset it again. That makes no sense. That's not a good user experience at all. It's like, do you guys not actually have people come in and play the game? And what are you showing them when they do come into play, right? Do you actually let them get their hands dirty so they can give you actual feedback about what works and what doesn't work, right? Don't If you got something that is like impactful and works great, right? That's low-hanging fruit. You you bring people in and you show them that and they give you positive feedback on that, and you're like, well, yeah, we already knew that was good. You didn't do anything. Show them the things that need to be tweaked so you can get feedback so that you know which direction to go with it, right? Or if it's kind of working, so we can let it stay like this, but let people come in, let users come in, do your user acceptance testing and say, hey, okay, yeah, this works, this doesn't work. No, out of the 10 people that we had testing, 7 of them did not like this feature at all. You know what I mean? And then I'm sure somebody needs to sit down and say, hey, that game plan, right? Instead of series specific, right? Give me the ability to change it for the series, but can we set an overall game plan that's real, you know? So this is what you're going to follow. This is our default for the game. This is going to be the game plan for the game. But then for this series, we can go in and tweak it and say, okay, no, I need you to do this for this particular series. And that would be great. I would love to see that. But so the fact that, like I said, so that since that Bland was back on JJ, that just it's like if I got to go in every series and keep resetting that, then it's at some point it gets to the point it gets to be not worth it. And in my opinion, that means you failed at that particular feature. You failed. It's no good. So you half-assed it is basically what you did. And and so it's a big F. You know what I mean? Even though you got it halfway right, it's an F. 50%. 50% is not a D, it's an F. Figure it out. Figure out how to do the game plan so that it's the whole game and we can tweak it as we need to as the game rolls along because there are going to be situational football and situational changes that need to be made. So figure it out. So yeah, so another year we got to wait. And then it's funny because I don't watch their videos. There's two guys that really hate Madden. You just if I can remember their names, one is I can't remember his name. It's some sort of like I don't want to say Kool-Aid or something, but when I see the name, it reminds me of a drink. It just does, like some sort of soft drink, and that might be it, soft something, soft drink or whatever. And then I'm like, all you two do is put out these negative videos, and I'm like, at some point, your message is you have some good point. And then, like, when I used to watch them, I'm like, you have some very good points. Yeah, you are showing some glaring issues. One time, this guy, he had a video and he actually was showing, he was like, this is how far back it was. And this is how, like, basically I've started tuning them out. It was I think it was going from Madden 19 to Madden 20. And he was showing, I think, so don't quote me on this, but I think he was showing that there were still some banners in the game in Madden 20 that said Madden 19 on it, 2019 on it, and we're not 2019 but Madden 19 they instead of Madden 20, and I was like, that's lazy. That's just laziness, right? It's like bad QA, right? The QA should have caught it. And then laziness because your QA didn't catch it, right? And I'm like, so it's a bad look. And then you have to really look for it, though, right? It's not like right in your face. And that's where I say it's lazy because since it's not in your face, you really have to look for it. So you have to work to find these issues, right? Or these things that got missed. And obviously, their QA did not work to find these things because they were there. And so I was watching, I'm like, so yeah, that was a good point. And then he has these videos showing like all the messed up stuff. But then after a while, you're watching, and then it's just constant, like constant. Madden sucks. Madden, is still just this new iteration is still just as bad as every other. And soft drink guy is the same way. And I'm sitting there going like, guys, do you not understand that your message, right, gets lost because all you're doing is, and this is where I feel like sometimes that's what I'm doing is all you're doing is complaining. You're not giving constructive criticism. You're not giving feedback. And one of the things you're not doing is you're not addressing the fact that there are positive changes as well as negative changes. And you're so over the top about how crappy the game is that after a while people are going to tune you out. And then the only following and the only people that are going to be watching you or listening to you are that one subsection of people, right? That one subset of people that want to be on that negative tip all the time, right? They want to have something to whine and complain about. And it's like, what I want is a game that I can play and have fun playing. I don't want the frustration. To me, if I'm sitting and playing a game and it frustrates me, golf. Golf is frustratingly fun, but ultimately it is fun, right? Because you're out there with your buds, you're out there having a good time, and then there's that moment, that shot that you just can't believe you just hit. It is awesome, right? And it makes you instantly forget about the 5 previous shots that didn't clear more than 2 feet off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Those line drives where, you hit the ball directly with the edge of the club face, instead of actually getting under the ball and getting some lift going, right? And it's just crazy because it's frustrating, right? But you can do better, and it's on you, and all I got to do is swing through, keep my eye on the ball, follow through properly, and not lift my shoulders, right? Because when you lift your shoulders trying to hit too hard, that's when you bring the club face up a little higher, and that's when the edge hits the middle of the ball instead of underneath the ball, and you get no lift. So this, but pulling it all together and swinging through, you run into issues sometimes, right? But when you get that clean hit, you're like, oh my gosh, that felt good, right? So, okay, so that is a frustratingly fun experience. But when you're playing video games and it is just constant frustration, watching and watching and watching, that's a poor experience. And you get to the point where you're like, I don't see how this is going to get any better. So when your players are not reacting in the secondary like you expect them to, right? Or you see the other team players react in the secondary, when your offensive line doesn't get the same push that the other offensive line is getting on your defensive line, then and then you say, okay, well, I got some studs on my defensive line too. And, so at some point you start to go, okay, I don't know what else I can tweak here to get it more. Because the key is we just want it balanced, right? Balance is the key. I say, to me, a perfect game is 56-0, because it is. That is the perfect game. But only if everything's balanced. So I still have to have talent and ability to make you shut you down. But if I'm watching and I just see that no matter what, it's just not going to happen, because the game isn't going to allow it to happen, right? And it is always going to be on the side of the AI, then it just kind of like, well, what's the point? And I think that's where I'm leaning right now with this, is like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem fun, you know? And I don't like playing head to head online. And the main reason I don't is because I don't want to be playing against some snot-nosed little kid with a foul mouth, all the time, and, talking smack all the time. That actually annoys me more than anything, right? Because you can't reach through, grab them by the throat, and break their necks. And then one is against the law, and the other one is just, you can't actually physically reach through there. So with that being said, so I'm not a huge fan of that, right? I don't play any game online, right? Against other people. Just, I like to sit back, get immersed, and feel like I'm having a good time. And I gotta be honest with you, this iteration of Madden is getting harder and harder to feel like I'm having a good time with it. And so, yeah, it's a crisis of faith right now, you know, because I'm trying. I really am trying. And it's just some things, just the eye test is not passing the eye test right now. And I don't know if I'm wrong on it, but when I see Lord Luigi also mentioning, well, what are my defensive players doing? They're just sitting there. They're not, it's like I need to tweak, the gameplay settings. And then he plays on all Madden, and he just leaves it all Madden 50, right, even just standard default settings. And I'm like, yeah, you would think it would just, it'd be same old, right? I play on all pro. I couldn't play on all Madden. I'd get killed every single time. But I play on all pro, and it's like I just want it to be balanced, right? I want my defenders, my AI defenders, to do the same thing that the AI team defender do, right? If they're, like I said, I want the same kind of block shed, I want the same kind of reaction, all that stuff, right? And then you don't get that. And then it's like, okay, and then so the eye test is showing you, just I don't know. So then you start playing around with the settings, and then like Lord Luigi even mentioned himself, and then I think I mentioned before, Mr. Hurricane, he does a pretty good job going through and just playing with it and testing and testing. And there's people that come out, and I can't remember the name of the guy that actually he works with to try to get the settings down, right? But I do think that Mr. Hurricane actually likes it to be very as tough as possible. And that's not how I like it. So, I don't want it to be as tough as possible. I just want it to be balanced and fair, right? I just want my players to react. If they react properly, like I think they should, then we have no issue. We have no issue. Just react, right? And just don't have people, receivers streaking through the secondary all the time, right? When I'm looking and struggling to find my receivers open, we had one play we saw, I had every single receiver had a guy right on his hip. And I'm like, that's not okay. That's not okay, right? And then nobody came open. Not a single one. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe if CD wasn't hurt, he would have been the one to come open. But then I watch the other team, and then you got Brandon Cooks comes open, JJ's open, the tight end's open, the stupid fullback out of the backfield is open, and it's like, who's not open? Let me find the one person that's not open, and then we'll see if that looks fair. It's like, you know, and then is it the play calling? Because I'm not even calling the plays, right? They're calling the plays. And then, like I said, I want Micah to show up more, right? And I'm watching and I'm watching, and it's like, dude, you're constantly getting blocked by one guy. That's not IRL. Micah doesn't get blocked by one guy constantly, unless that one guy isn't like basically an all pro, right? Hall of Famer is blocking him. Normally, though, he's too quick. He gets around him just like that. Not here, not in this iteration. So it's kind of like, what's going on there? If he's getting double teamed and triple teamed, okay, all right, yeah, I got it, because I got nobody else to pull those guys off of him. But if he's getting blocked one on one constantly, consistently like that, then I'm like, there's a problem. There is a problem, especially when number 99 on Minnesota, it was unblockable. That guy was unblockable. Run on run plays and passing. I'm like, this guy was unblockable. Yet Micah was completely blockable, except for like 2 or 3 plays. And I'm like, that just right? Eye test. That doesn't seem right. Does not seem right. And right now, I don't know. I mean, of anyone on that team on the line there that could block him like that. but yet they did. So there we have it. And then there's the end of my rant this week. This game week, right? We'll see what I rant about next time. But I think I am probably going to keep ranting until I um see X Factor players actually being X Factors, right? JJ, what do you have, 10, 11, 12 catches? He was being an X Factor player. You know what I'm saying? And who was throwing on the ball? Second year guy, JJ McCarthy. So you explain it to me, right? Explain to me how all of a sudden Brandon Cooks, aging Brandon Cooks, is now all of a sudden X Factor caliber, right? So yeah, I was, like I said, it's just things that make you go, right? And like I said, I just want to see balance. I want to see, you know, X Factors on both sides of the ball play like X Factors. And you're not seeing that. And I'm not seeing that anymore. So I'm like, what is the difference here? Why are they not acting or playing like X Factors? Now, granted, I mean, in IRL, a good game for Micah is 2 sacks, and he had 2 sacks, right? And I think one or two tackles for loss. So technically, it was a good game. But, he's also blowing up plays, and pressuring the quarterback. And then that's another thing I wish Madden would track too is pressures, right? Michael led the league in pressures. He was tied with oh, I can't remember the guy's name last season for with pressures. So where, I'd like to see those numbers, right? I like to see how that comes about. And I'm just not seeing the pressure, right? Even if they don't track it here, I just like to see more of it. I like to see X Factors play like X Factors on both sides, for both teams, not just one, not the computer controlled team. And again, I'm watching the defense, so I'm not controlling them. So that is essentially the computer controlled team, right? So they should be playing the same level as the other team, right? I think. I could be wrong. Okay. Well, so that does it for this week. Next week is Chargers week. We will see how that goes. And then, being that it's the third week, we get to select the regional focus, right? So West, I think we decided that corner, yeah, corner is going, yes, because we're not re-signing Ron Bland. I mean, unless all of a sudden he starts picking everybody off, right, and playing just out of his mind, right? Yeah, he's not getting. We're not just no. He was getting beat by JJ just left and right, right, and unfortunately, I wasn't willing to reset the game plan, right, in game every single series. It's like, no, I said it once. It should stay that way until I said it differently. And if you really were listening, you would make it so that we could set it prior to the game and then alter when we need to, right? The little stupid thing the weekly thing, I don't like it. I never have, but I think the very first time when they introduced it, it worked a little bit differently than it does the last couple of iterations of Madden. And I think it's gotten worse, not better. So, but you have to do something. So, but I, like I said, I don't think that isn't the best way to set your game plan, right? It's too vague, and it's like, okay, well, you'll concentrate on this, but this will cost you here and here, and it's like, I don't know. Why don't you let me be more specific about my game plan and say exactly what I want to do, right? I want to run more man. I want to spy on the quarterback. I want my matchups with the defensive backs. I want them to travel and I want my best guy on their best guy. That's not a hard game plan to set before the game. I don't think so. So there you have it. All right, and then we do have a trade offer for Sam Williams, right? We're not re-signing him. So, ooh, ooh, that one's intriguing. This one is too, but if I'm not mistaken, TJ Tampa is slow. That one doesn't interest me at all. Nope. That one is intriguing. No, I'm not a fan of Bryce Hall, so no. And then no, I don't like little receivers that I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. This one is intriguing, but it's just a straight swap. I'm not sure if they had added a. Granted, it's fair. It's like you want to make the trade, so sauce it up a little bit, right? Deontay Banks, just this one's interesting. This one is interesting. I wish I knew more about him, but I don't. That one is very intriguing because right now Sam Williams isn't doing anything for us. So, but an 80 star caliber receiver. No, I'm sorry, defensive back, especially right now when we're having defensive back woes. Yes, we are having defensive back woes. When JJ McCarthy can come in and carve us up, we're having issues. Trayvon's not playing well. Duran is getting beat like a drum, and then our rookie isn't really blowing me away, right? So this is intriguing here. And then we pick up a fifth round pick on top of it, right? So we're getting an 80 overall star player for a 76 overall normal dev player, right? And a fifth round pick. It is going to the Giants, but mm, not interested. Not interested. I don't want a slow corner because they just get beat all the time. Slow corners. Unfortunately, if you have a slow corner, all you do is take them on a 9 route, boom, and over top of their head. The only time you can't beat them is when you're actually going against them against the AI defense, right? So when you're trying to throw over them, yeah, yeah, very rarely can you get past them. But when you have a corner that's 88 or 87 or 89 speed, then it seems like the computer controlled offense has no trouble getting deep on you every single time, or at least three, four, 5 times a game. So then you're like, huh, right? And you're watching your corners trail, in the trail position every single time. Yet when you have a receiver that's 93 speed and they're on a corner that's 89 And that corner, 89 speed corner is the computer controlled corner. He's on his hip every time. And you're like, how's that possible? And then I'm watching 91 speed Deron Bland just get burnt half the time, right? JJ's like 5 yards open on him. Now it's JJ. So, we have to preface that, right? We have to say, well, yes, it is JJ. He's like that on everybody. But we got other receivers. What's that number 11 for the Lions? He carved us up last season. And I'm like, seriously? Right? It's like, I don't even know his name. But he carved us up. And it's like, all he has is speed. Right? Or we look at, I mean, like I said, it's a weird thing. And then again, but it's based on the way Madden is built and the way that the things are that, if your receivers don't have serious speed, then they aren't the greatest receiver, right? Like, unless they're computer controlled. If they're computer controlled, then yes, they will play and they will play well and they will play to their abilities. But if they're user controlled, you need speed to get them open. You need them to be able to, you know what I mean? If you don't have that, you're not going to get it, right? It's just it's not going to do you any favors. So it's a thing. All right, so I am going to check him out. And then next time around, we will decide. Okay, he's a corner. So corner. And he's Giants. 6'2". 2 years. Day one starter. .94 speed. Holy cow. I can't think of a reason why I wouldn't accept this trade. All right, so right here, this is what we're going to do. Trade offers. And then don't get me wrong. Size, speed, Jimmy Chin has it all. Right? Except one thing. If I brought him in, I would replace, well, I don't know, because right now I'm just watching Bell. He makes plays, but he makes plays after the play. If that, I don't know if that makes sense, right? The Cowboys used to have a player, his name, they used to call him Almost Anthony. And he was a defensive end they brought in, and he played opposite DeMarcus Ware. Anthony, I can't remember his last name right now. But they nicknamed him Almost Anthony because he didn't have a ton of sacks, right? But he was almost there almost every play. You know what I mean? So he would be just getting there to the quarterback as the quarterback's letting the ball go. And they used to, it was just a funny thing that they said. So when I say that, and then I'm talking about Bell, it's like I'm watching the plays and I'm watching that he's just late getting there, right? So he's not there in time to knock the ball out, or he's just almost there to knock the ball out, but he doesn't. And so now he's going to make the play. And he just misses because he doesn't have the right angle, and the guy just runs around him. And I see that happen a lot. And it happens quite a bit with Melifonwu, too. So, in truth, bringing in Jeremy Chin, would that fix it? Would that give me a player that isn't almost there every time and a player that's actually making plays? And then part of me is thinking to myself, I don't know. And that really is it right there. I don't know that this player would make more plays, right? Or, you know, he's faster. He's not faster than Bell, but he's faster than Melifonwu. Same size, but more speed, right? He's an 80 overall, with Melifonwu was a 78 or 79 overall. So technically, supposedly, a little bit better player, right? I like Jeremy Chin, but would he be an upgrade? Because we'd have to bring him in, move him over to free, and then, possibly take um, Wanye Thomas and put him back on the practice squad, right? But here, and I think I still need to think about it, because I bring him in, right? Now I got four. I've got I got Trayvon, right? That's my X Factor, who's not playing like an X Factor. Then I have Deron Bland, who's like a 91 overall, but he's not playing that way. I think his overall went way up because of the 9 interceptions and 5 pick sixes. But again, like I said, and I think I've said this before, there still was a lot of plays though where he was getting beat. So it was feast or famine with him. And so there might be a little overratedness there. We have to be honest, and we have to say, yeah, you gave up quite a few plays too. But then in the end, did he? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of plays you were trailing on. But for the last 2 years, and it's unfortunate he's injured now, but for the last 2 years, he really, 5 interceptions his first season, 9 interceptions the second. He just got better and better because he is a playmaker. It's just that in Madden, he's not as much of a playmaker as he is in real life. And apparently neither is Trayvon and neither is Parsons. but but yet number 99 on the Vikings, is unblockable. So yeah, I'm gonna keep harping on that. So yeah, I bring him in. He's really going to be the fourth corner, right? Star dev. And then the question is, do I just trade Bland now, get whatever capital I can for him, and then see if Deontay Banks can do a better job, right? And then maybe slide him into the slot. But then I have four good cornerbacks now, if I count Kalen Carson. So bring him in, I would have five. I'd be very heavy on corners, but the problem is I don't need more corners. I need ones to actually make plays, right? And cover the receivers. And then that's your dilemma, right? Is it what Lord Luigi was talking about, that they're just unaware out there? They just don't react. They don't read and react like they're supposed, like you're expecting them to? Or is it the playbook? What if is it the defensive playbook? Is it just not good? And I don't know. So there we are. And then, as you can see, we could ramble and talk on and on about some of the shortcomings, some of the issues and things like that, and then try to figure out exactly what happens. Because again, when I set the gameplay sliders, I still don't know that if the sliders actually impact the sim portion of it, right? So if I'm sitting there watching the sim happen, right, then is that 50-50, right? So is it just default the sliders don't impact? Because It's not player versus CPU at that point. It's CPU versus CPU, right? But then you just watch the the CPU controlled CPU team, right? Just dominate the player controlled CPU team, right? And you're just like, really? It just doesn't seem like my team is reading and reacting like that team is, the other team is. And so it's like I said, it's a little disheartening right now and concerning in a sense too, because you gotta figure it out. All right, it's past my bedtime, and I've rambled and talked enough. So I will be working on getting this out. So hopefully the previous one will be out by the time I'm finished wrapping this up, and then we'll try to keep it coming, every day or every other day. Get at least one. This might come out the same, just shortly, within hours of the previous one I just did. I just finished doing everything, so I'm about to go in and double check that it's done all its processing and then upload it, right? And then yeah, it did. It saved and everything. So I would just upload that and then go through, add the little things to this one, process it through, and then upload that. So, and then figure out when I'm gonna have time for the next game, and then figure out the format for that. Okay, so we will see you. We will talk to you later. Thank you. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys think I'm way off base, feel free to say something. Tell me that, wait, no, this iteration is so easy to play against. And then I'll be like, okay, you are a man god and I suck. But other than that, if you're finding that you're running into issues too, and you're like, yeah, doesn't seem right, then say, yeah, it could be tweaked, or it needs improvement still. And then we'll be in agreement, and I will commiserate together, because I think the key is to go out and find the answers, right? Find what are the gameplay settings that are going to work and make it more balanced. And if simming is just standard, even both ways, then it's like, okay, well, then there is no fixing that. There is none, right? When we're watching the defense play against the computer controlled offense, there's no fixing for that. If the gameplay settings, sliders don't mess with that at all, then it's just what it is, and there's no fixing it. And we're just watching every team run through, our secondary, run through our line, just, yeah. And then you're like, okay, so these X Factor players really are doing nothing for me on this team. So why am I paying them? And that really becomes the question, right? Is like, well, since based on the way this game is put together and set up, these X Factors don't do a thing. I don't need them on my team. It's a waste of my money, right? It's a waste of my cap space. So that's another thing to consider, and that's another thing to try to figure out. All right, guys. You guys be good. We'll see you next time. Bye.